Hey, it's James with iBuyYourHouse.com. And here today I'm joined with Taylor, the owner of Midsouth Title. He's our closing attorney and makes sure that when it's time for you to close, when we buy your house, that we close on time and it happens the way the contract says. What we've agreed upon, we do. So Taylor, tell us, working with some of the best professionals in town, that's why we choose to work with Midsouth Title. How can a seller of a property be certain that if they sell to a cash buyer, that when it comes closing date, it's going to close?
Of course. Thanks, James. Of course, a proper abstract research will be ordered as soon as we receive the contract. A commitment will be generated and circulated amongst the parties to let everybody know the title is good and ready to be transferred. Of course, if there are any issues, we can work to clear them. Normally, they're pretty small. But we keep everybody abreast via text and emails as we march towards closing.
Yeah, and we can close quick.
Of course, sometimes even with cash buyers, within 7 days.
Absolutely. Some of the slowdowns I've seen, probate. So when someone passes away and there's not a proper will, or even when there is a will, sometimes it can take a few weeks or so. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, getting with the mortgage company and making sure we know exactly what your payoff is, back taxes. Those are all things we work through as a team together, right?
Of course, once we receive the search back and it's been examined by our professionals, we have a list, sort of marching orders, and they can include payoffs, they can include clearing up any deaths in the chain. Normally, these are just typical things that only take a few days. So it's important to work with a local title company. Some people use nationwide type title companies. They're mostly reaching into the city anyway, so it's better to use local expertise. We're 26 years locally owned and operated.
Yes, I agree with that. We buy houses that have code enforcement issues, houses that have tax issues, like I mentioned, people that are going into foreclosure. We can stop that process, but you have to work with a team that knows what they're doing. I get this question sometimes, Taylor. Do I need to come to Memphis to sell the house, meaning to sign the papers? Or, hey, the person that needs to sign is in the hospital. If they can't make it to my office or your office for the closing, how do you handle that?
Of course, whether there's one seller or 8 sellers, not every seller has to come to closing. Not any seller has to come to closing. We have multiple ways. We can either have a remote notary meet you anywhere in the country or really anywhere in the world. Also, in Tennessee especially, remote online notary is available, and we can set you up with what's basically a Zoom call and a local notary, and you can sign with on your phone or your desktop, and then we will wire you your sales proceeds.
High tech.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, guys, we buy houses in any condition, any price across Memphis, Tennessee. If you're looking for a quick sale without having to, list the house and have open houses, we buy the house as is. If there's furniture and things you want to leave behind, you can leave it there. We'll take care of it. We can close in as little as a week, like Taylor said, in the right conditions, as long as there's not a death certificate or back taxes, things we need to work out. But if you are interested in selling your house and you start talking to companies like mine, the one thing I would suggest is ask to call their closing attorney and ask about their background, their track record, or is this a legitimate company that I'm working with? Because there's so many out there that aren't. So we'd love to work with you at iBuyYourHouse.com. Thanks.